Alright, today guys we're going to be looking at an ice shards and blizzard sorcerer build between levels 70 to 90, and I'm going to break down my skill tree and show you guys exactly what I'm using that helps me farm Nightmare Dungeon tiers 31 through 35, and we'll go over some of the skills and the glyphs. So starting off, we've got our skill tree, and I like to put 2 points into Firebolt because I use the enchantment effect. Direct damage from skills applies up to an additional 18-14 burn damage over 8 seconds. Very nice when you're using it as one of your enchantments because every damage skill you have therefore starts to burn the enemy for fire damage. And that'll come in synergy later with something else I'll show you here down the list. We come down here, we grab Ice Shards. 4 out of 5, save the 5th point for something more important, and go all the way into Destructive Ice Shards. Down here we want to grab every single defensive skill that we can in the area here. You're going to do Flame Shield. I like to do Mystical Flame Shield for gaining mana back, mana cost reduction. I do Teleport, and I do Teleport Shimmering Teleport. Gain 30% damage reduction for 3 seconds. Definitely helps after you teleport to take a couple hits from the mobs. 2 out of 3 points into Elemental Attunement. I have 4 out of 3 points in Glass Cannon, so just put as many points in here as you can. I take Ice Armor with Enhanced Ice Armor for mana regeneration, and Frost Nova down to Mystical Frost Nova for the vulnerable. Alright, and next what we're going to go down and do is head on down here to the Conjuration skills and just make sure we put 3 out of 3 points in Precision Magic for our lucky hit chance increase. 1 out of 3 points in Align the Elements, so you can do 3 out of 3 points in Mana Shield and 2 out of 3 points in Protection. This will help make you more tankier for bosses and Nightmare Dungeons. So. Now you get to see a little bit of gameplay in action there, so that mob doesn't kill me. After that, we head on down to our Mastery skills. 1 out of 3 points in Icy Veil, 3 out of 3 points in Cold Front, so I get more chill when I have an active barrier. 1 out of 3 points in Snap Freeze, just gives a 3% chance to instantly freeze targets when they get hit by cold damage. And my favorite skill of all, Blizzard. I have that at rank 7 out of 5, and that makes it so my Blizzard does an extraordinarily large amount of damage. Mage's Blizzard is what I spec into up here. That's why when I cast above 50 mana, my Blizzard's duration is increased by 4 seconds. Coming down here for the Firebolt synergy, like I was talking about earlier, as one of your enchantments, you're going to want to use Firebolt as your enchantment, just so you can put 1 point into Inner Flames and 3 out of 3 points into Devouring Blaze. Even though this has been nerfed with the patch, it's still probably the most viable choice as far as damage and crit numbers are concerned for Nightmare Dungeons, which is typically all I run right now. So definitely want to get Devouring Blaze 3 out of 3 points. Come down here to Ultimate Skills and put 3 out of 3 points in all of these passives right here. Don't worry about getting any ultimates. And then of course we're going to use Avalanche as our key passive, and now I'll show you why in a second. So looking at the gear, we've got my helm, which is the Boneweave Helm of Binding Embers. Flame Shield lets you move through enemies unhindered. You move through enemies and they are immobilized for 2.9 seconds. Really helpful to keep crowd control going for the dungeons. My Ryman of the Infinite chest piece. After using Teleport, close enemies are pulled to you and stunned for 2.1 seconds. My Frostburn gloves, lucky hit chance up to 17% to freeze enemies for 2 seconds. I have a pair of regular leggings that I'm using the damage barrier enchantment on. I'm using the Penitent Greaves that just dropped for me. And I'm using a Glacial Bone Wand, a wand with Blizzard Ice Spikes enchantment or aspect attached to it. So after the wand, we go over to the medallion. My amulet, 48% more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. This is huge. I deal 48% more damage to immobilized enemies when they're stunned or when they're frozen. And I think I can do all three of those, stunned, immobilized, and frozen. So this is a key part of the build. To make sure your mana regeneration is on point, you want to have the Avalanche Key passive now applies to one additional cast glyph. It's very important to have this because not only do you get to cast a skill once for free, but it gives you a second one right after that, and it's 40% extra damage too. So 2 of those in a row can really help you get to where you need to be as far as clearing the dungeons quickly and not worrying about your mana regeneration. Another Ice Spikes glyph that I'm using is Ice Spikes have a 50% increased explosion radius with Deep Freeze. I don't use Deep Freeze, but I do appreciate the 50% increased explosion radius. So when my Ice Spikes come up and pop off the ground from Blizzard, they're a lot bigger and they cover a lot more surface area, which does a lot more damage. So that's basically it. Besides that, the Paragon board that I'm using is going to be Icefall and Frigid Fate. Of course, I go up the right side of my beginning board, go up the left side after rotating the glyph counterclockwise once. So Frigid Fate's right in the middle. You definitely want to right up here, grab Frigid Fate, increases your lucky hit chance. Go up the right side of the board here so you can grab Icefall, which gives you an extra barrier on top of the 2 you already use. And I'm only level 82, so that's as far as I've gotten on the Paragon system, but this build is mainly for people who want to breeze through Nightmare Dungeons tiers 30 through 35 with minimal difficulty. Just make sure you're not getting hit much because Sorcerer is squishy. So if you guys have any questions or you want to see more videos or you'd like me to answer anything about the build or how to play it, please leave a like and post a comment. Alright, thanks. Bye.